So you're getting a ton of applicants, and your equality monitoring insights tell you that they're a pretty diverse bunch. The challenge is that that diversity isn't reflected in the pool of candidates that get as far as the interview stage. I'm Pete, I'm part of the team at Pinpoint, and we build software that helps HR and talent acquisition teams attract, hire, and retain more of the best people. Today, I'm going to show you how to reduce the risk of unconscious bias in the early stages of the selection process using a feature called blind screening. So this is Pinpoint. This is a list of candidates that have applied for a chief of staff role. And I can click into any of these candidates. I can view their original CV. I can view this standardized version of the CV that Pinpoint produces for every candidate, and you'll see why that's important in a second. And I can also see this candidate's answers to questions on the application form that they submitted. This is fine, but our recruiters and our hiring managers know the name, the location, perhaps how this candidate found out about the role. And all of these things can infer protected characteristics. And all of these things can increase the risk of either conscious or unconscious bias in these early stages of selection. And so we have this tool called blind screening that helps to tackle some of these challenges. If I come up here and I edit my job, I can enable blind screening. I'll go to my job settings and I'll turn the feature on. And now what you'll see is that all of our candidate names have been replaced with random combinations of colours, fruits and vegetables. So right up into the interview process now, Tom would be known as Emerald, not Tom. We can see here, Tom's application has had a whole bunch of information redacted, so we can't see his original name, email address, phone number, and so on. We can't see where Tom found out about the role. And if he's alluded to any kind of protected characteristics in answers to questions on the application form, then we'll redact those words as well. When we come to this tab, if you remember before, we could see the original CV that had been uploaded. But we can no longer do that. All we can see here is the version of the CV where Pinpoint has extracted the most important information, so things like employment history, summary, education background, and things like that. And we've removed all of those personally sort of identifiable bits of information as well. So again, the name's been removed, the address has been removed, and so on. And the idea here is that right up to interview stage, your recruiters and your hiring managers that are making those selection decisions can do so just on the basis of the criteria that actually matter. So things like those answers to questions that you've specifically asked on the application form, education history, or perhaps employment history. And we've seen great success with a number of our clients who have implemented this in terms of improving the diversity of candidates that get through to interview stage and creating more opportunities for a more diverse group of candidates. Hopefully this has been helpful, given you a bit of an insight into how blind screening can help you to reduce the risk of bias in the selection process. I think obviously once we get to interviews, there's a whole set of different challenges because we're going to meet this person face to face, or we're going to talk to them over the phone. But we do have a bunch of other tools, things like candidate scorecards, that can help you again to make sure that those interviews are as fair as possible. We'll talk about those in a separate video. Thanks for listening. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to us. The email is hello@pinpointhq.com.